Hey there, it's Adrienne. Thanks for being here. So, overwhelm. Hmm. Yep, I'm having one of those weeks, months maybe. I've hit a time where pretty much everything in my life, well, it feels like pretty much everything in my life, is upside down, late, out of control, or disorganized. And it feels so heavy. But it's not the first time I've been here, and it won't be the last. I experienced a brain injury about 12 years ago, and even though my brain works much better now, it still gets so muddled. And for the most part, I've stopped with the waiting for my brain to get better. But honestly, I've spent most of the last decade waiting for the skills and capacities I had to come back. Multitasking is gone. I quite literally can't chat with somebody and make dinner at the same time. I moved my mom in with me a few years ago, and she's such a chatty, lovely human. But I finally had to say, look, we can chat or I can make dinner. You choose. I can't do both. My fuse can be short. But I finally stopped waiting for my brain to get better and started to find the benefits of this new brain. So I'm a better coach than I was because I can listen and focus completely now that my brain allows me to do one thing at a time. I didn't realize I was feeling overwhelmed until last week when I had a bit of a meltdown on a Zoom call. It's frustrating because people often think it's just a case of prioritizing time. But if my brain isn't functioning well, if my legs are spasming and I can't sit down, let alone think, there's no amount of prioritizing time in the world that's going to fix this. We all have our own version of personal barriers, so at least it helps me to know I'm not alone. So, how am I going to get through this wave of overwhelm? Ugh. Well, I start by noticing it. So, now that I've noticed this feeling of overwhelm and abject failure, I've stopped signing up for new things this month and next. I'm creating an environment that will more easily allow me to move through the mountain of stuff that needs to get done. I also find that it helps me to get all of this stuff that needs to happen out of my head and on paper. So even though I do get frustrated, oh my, I do, I've stopped shaming myself or blaming myself for not having everything just so and up to date. Oddly, that was one of the many gifts that I got from toxic poisoning that nearly killed me. It took me so many years to recover that I had to learn how to be okay with a mess, with disorganization, with not being able to go out, and not being even close to my best. I also make sure I'm eating healthy food and drinking plenty of water, so at least I'm giving my brain and body good fuel. Dancing and music are important to me, so I make sure I get out to live music at the pub once a week. Normally, I'd go twice a week, but I just can't right now. But it's important that I do a little bit. I also do mindfulness practices and meditation to help quiet my brain, and that allows for better thinking. Movement is something that helps too. So whether it's dancing or going for a short walk, I do my best to make time for those, even during a busy week. Am I always successful? No. So you might wonder, do I spend time noticing what's working? Often, yes. It is beneficial for the brain to be reminded of the many things that are going or have gone well. It's good for the heart, too. Well, here's an example. So I could list, it would be a long list, the stuff that is overwhelming me right now. But I'm really good at managing my mom's care. She was ending up in the hospital every 6 to 10 weeks. But now that I'm managing her medications and symptoms day by day, she hasn't needed to go to the hospital since 2002. No, that's not right. since 2022. Did I mention that my brain has been muddled? Yeah. Anyway, so I notice the overwhelm, identify the causes, and get them the heck out of my head by writing them down. I take care of my physical self and try to get any resources I need for help. Speaking of, do I ask for help? Often I do. That can be really hard, but it's really important. I also make the effort to introduce things that bring me joy. A funny news story about translations gone horribly wrong that leaves us in stitches for a few minutes. A warm bath with beautiful, relaxing lighting. A favorite breakfast. I check in with friends, but I keep the conversations shorter. I let them know that I'm in a little bit of a state of overwhelm, so they're not wondering what the hell's up with her. And of course, I find as many things to be grateful for and appreciate as I can. So what do you do when you hit a wall of overwhelm? Feel free to share your ideas with me. In the meantime, well, I'm off to have a bath, write down the mountain of things that are in my head that need to get done, drink some water, and meditate. Then the work begins. By the way, especially if it requires hours of time at the computer, I'll often set the timer for 20-minute intervals, and in between each one, I get up, stretch, drink, sometimes listen to a song that inspires me to move, just one, and then I can focus and be more productive for the next chunk of time. However you move through overwhelm, yay you for getting through it. And I remind you, as I remind myself, all of this stuff that isn't done, that needs to happen, all the things that need to be completed that haven't even been started, while they're important, none of it impacts our level of worth or lovability. We're still lovable. We're still able to share love with ourselves and others. And we still deserve to laugh and have a bit of fun and appreciate the things that delight us. Okay, onward. Take care. Bye-bye.